Hello, my name is Ryan Atkinson, and this is Drumlime Games with our new project, the Umbral Isles. Now, this game has been on development for about 6 months already. This is from our pitch presentation, as well as just a concept of the game. So it's a little outdated, but I'll correct you where it's necessary. Right now, we're working in our second set of work period. This is a capstone project for our senior year, and we're working in our last semester of it. Um, with me, not in call today, but on the project, is Solomon, Preston, and Andrew. Andrew is our lead artist, Preston and Solomon are our lead coders, and I am the project manager, Ryan. I also plug in code where needed, and I'm kind of a fix-all. I patch in wherever I'm necessary. So let's go ahead and get into it. So to give you an idea of the setting, the Umbral Isles takes inspiration from Eldritch Horror, Darkest Dungeon, and Dungeons and Dragons for its world. Now, I will say this is outdated. This is more focused on a wider scope of geographical areas, like you might have mountains and stuff like that. For what the Umbral Isles, we've kind of narrowed that down to be more aquatic and coastal. We're very much sticking to like an archipelago and an island theme. So we're sticking more to when it comes to Eldritch Horror, we're less so your Bloodborne and a lot more your fishing Hamlet and Cthulhu vibes. So a lot of deep sea fish and the unknown in that sense. Um, the general idea is you as a uh, player will be getting a party of people together to go into these dungeons, clear out the cultists, and ultimately kill their eldritch god, whether that be our current model, which is a giant immortal lobster, whether it be something more akin to Cthulhu with lots of tentacles, anything you can think of at a Davy Jones locker, really. So this game is a pretty big mashup of different titles in our heads. We're taking a lot of inspiration from Darkest Dungeon for its theming and its some of its mechanical choices, like the sanity system, its system of inventory, as well as its um, Hamlet hometown system of upgrading your hometown with, or in this case it would be your island or your guild, with new facilities, or making the facilities better, or upgrading your people while there, or purchasing equipment and supplies before going. So that's where we're taking from Darkest Dungeon. Where we're differentiating ourselves quite a bit is both the dungeon crawling and the combat itself. So for combat, we're definitely looking towards your tactical RPG style with Fire Emblem ideas, as well as South Park, A Fractured But Whole, and to some extent a Stick of Truth. In that we're going to have a tile-based combat system, and I'll get more into that later. And then for dungeon crawling, think Pokemon Mystery Dungeons with the random generation, as well as the pixel style. Because we tend to do, I believe we decided on 16 by 16 or 8 by 8. I don't quite remember for our style of the dungeon. So you'll be in a very pixelated, and then as soon as you get into a fight, it'll be full resolution. Uh, and with that dungeon style is also comes Torchlight and Diablo. You'll come across curios and chests and barrels and traps and monsters, and while you won't fight them in the overworld, you will have the ability to start a fight by attacking them, or them starting a fight by attacking you. So it might be a monster that's really fast, or a monster that's really slow, or a monster that doesn't move, but maybe it's programmed in a way to block entrances so that you have to fight it if you want to continue, that kind of thing. And that's where we're getting some of the Torchlight and Diablo franchise inspiration. So more into that dungeons, it's right there. It's going to be a procedurally generated dungeon, a system of rooms with different interactables in each room, and much like, say, Paper Mario or uh, other things, when you run into an enemy, that's going to start an encounter, or vice versa if it runs into you. Um, so you might be able to get a leg up on your opponent by attacking them. Maybe you get an extra attack. Maybe you get to start your turn first, or you get a surprise round if you're familiar with D&D, that kind of system. This is what I was getting back into the combat. This is starting as soon as you encounter that person, and this is a variable grid-based combat. Now, initially, we were going to be doing more of your battle network style. We have themes, but battle network is very much more so a lane-based combat, and we're moving more towards um, South Park Fractured But Wholes system because it's a pretty unique system and it's really good, solid, and you will target tiles with your attacks. Each tile may have a person in it. It may have an object or obstacle in it. There will be some turns where tiles will be highlighted, and those highlighted tiles next turn something could happen in them. It could be a big bomb, or it could be a cave in, or something along those lines. So it gives the players reason to avoid certain tiles. And if they have a melee character, of course they're going to have to get up into melee position. Maybe they have a blink that makes it teleport. So if they get in a hairy situation, so that's all it's going to be, consistent with. And the other thing is, instead of like a mana bar, we have the sanity system. So you're going to have to manage your pawn or your character's health and their sanity. And our current development thoughts is to have sanity be your both, an affliction that can be had. So if you get attacked by a particularly scary attack, you may suffer a sanity damage. But we also intend that magic users will have to go slightly insane to use their magic. It's very consistent in Eldritch Horror that the more you learn, the crazier you get. And, using their power can go make you crazy as well. So that's kind of where we're going with that. And, magic characters will have ways of dealing with that. Maybe they have an ability that makes them regain sanity, or maybe they have a larger ability to deal with it. So, like, they have a larger sanity bar that's harder to fill up. And that's just about it for combat. I will say that some of these things will be able to be managed out of combat with food that'll heal you up, or maybe a beer will help you get out of sanity, or that kind of thing. Um, and this is kind of an idea to give us more interest into the different creatures you might come across of. Now, I will say this is an earlier concept for an enemy, and we've moved away from more humanoid body horror to, um, like I mentioned previously, aquatic beings. A lot of our cultists now are some sort of fish man, or uh, octopus man, or think in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, if you think of the crew of the Dutchman under Davy Jones and how they are, that's more what we've moved towards. But each one will have, their own distinct abilities and their own distinct patterns, and you'll be able to notice those and, play against them. And last bit is our out of combat meta progression. So this is going to be outside the gameplay loop. You're out of the dungeon, you beat the dungeon, or maybe you lost the dungeon and you're coming back. And here you're going to have everything from character upgrades, equipment, abilities, as well as getting more stocked up for the next thing. Maybe you'll have to deal with the sanity of a character. Maybe they need to go get drunk. Maybe they need to go do something like that. And maybe you can also interact with your guild members. We're not entirely sure if that's going to be a thing, how much it'll be a part of the story. If there is story in the game, it's going to be primarily here, really, and it's probably going to be more of a what you want out of it. If you want to dig into the lore, you can have it, but it's going to be more of a mechanic-based game, and the lore is going to be what you want of it. That about does it for our uh, concept presentation, as well as kind of our pitch presentation. In future videos, you'll see dev diaries on what we've been working on and how it works, or art, or you'll hear some of the music that our new composer is going to be a part of, Callie. Um, you'll hear some of the themes and music that she's done over the semester. We're really excited for this project, and we hope you like it. Thank you very much.